Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back and watching. I appreciate it. Hope your day's going super awesome. I've got this question a number of times, and I figured it was time to address it in a video, and that is, hey Jim, will my presets, looks, presets, whatever, will my presets that I have in Luminar 3 or Luminar Flex or whatever, will they work in Luminar 4? And the answer is yes, but... So let me just jump into that. Here we go. I've got an image here, and I'm going to go to looks. Again, they're called looks now, but presets, the same kind of thing. But I'll use those words interchangeably. Okay, this is an old preset pack of mine called London Calling, right? You can load those packs I've got my old one, Magic Hour. I've got a bunch of my old ones, but I've got London Calling, and I'm going to click on this Cheeky Monkey preset, and it will apply to the photo just like it would in the previous version. However, there'll be something that you'll notice, and that is historically you've got these four little icons over here that represent the four different filter categories. And I'm going to come back and do a UI tour as well that will talk about this in a little bit more depth. But if you have, let me rephrase that. Some filters that were in Luminar 3 and Flex are not in Luminar 4. There were a lot of duplicates, like you could get highlights and shadows as a separate filter, but it was also built into like develop, right? So things like that, they've removed a bit of the duplication in order to simplify the interface, remove some confusion and that sort of thing. And I like it. I'm getting really accustomed to it in Luminar 4. But what that means is your presets may contain some of these filters that no longer exist in Luminar 4. So there's this tab, and if you hover right over it, it's got that little suitcase icon, I guess, maybe like you're traveling back in time, and it's called deprecated. So you may click on that and you'll see filters like the tone filter. It no longer exists. And so let me walk through these and kind of show you what does exist. In the new filter, light, it encompasses temperature, it's got highlights and shadows, that sort of thing, as well as whites and blacks, and the tone curve. So tone curve is not a separate filter, it's built into light, for example. So in this case, this preset or look that I chose included some temperature and some highlight and shadow adjustments. You can tell which ones are used, by the way, because they're in bold or highlighted, whereas the other ones are not. So AI Enhance was used, and Accent AI was used at 36. Now, just FYI, it was called Accent AI. In the previous version, it's now called AI Accent, and that's because all their filters that use AI start with AI, so they swap that term. So anyway, AI Accent or Accent AI was used in the previous version. It's part of AI Enhance filter. Color, that encompasses a number of things. Saturation and vibrance, which was used here. It also has advanced settings, which is your HSL stuff. So that's included. And then Landscape Enhancer has three filters you used to know: Dehaze, Golden Hour, and Foliage Enhancer. And then in the advanced settings, you can change the hue. But in this case, Golden Hour was applied in this preset as well. So all of those filters are still in Luminar. They're just kind of slightly... what's the word? They've been changed. The location has been changed or enhanced. How about that? Anyway, so that if you go to the Pro category, you can see Color Enhancer. What is that, Jim? Well, Brilliance and Warmth is over here, things like that. And in the advanced settings, you get into my favorite, which is Color Balance. But anyway, all of those are included in this preset, and thus they still work in Luminar 4. But if you go over to Deprecated, you'll see that Tone, which is no longer a separate filter in Luminar 4, shows up in the Deprecated tab, and you're only going to see this Deprecated tab if you have a filter that it doesn't exist in 4 but did exist in a previous version. So in this case, I used a little bit of contrast, a little bit of smart tone, and that's it. So that's a little bit of a difference. So your presets will work. However, if you have filters that are no longer in existence in Luminar 4, they're going to show up on the Deprecated tab. The good news is you can still click on them and adjust them and that sort of thing. So you can come in here and say, okay, more contrast or less contrast or whatever, more smart tone, less smart tone, whatever, right? So you're still able to access them, and they're still adjustable, but they're in a tab called Deprecated, because what that means is those filters don't exist in Luminar 4 independently. I cannot, without the use of a preset that includes tone, I cannot get access to the tone filter. And also, what Luminar 4 is basically doing is saying, hey, this filter is going away. So my guess is in Luminar 5 or whatever, you're not going to have tone and you're not going to have access to it. So even though you can get access to it sort of accidentally in the Luminar 4, my suggestion is I would take the presets that you have that include these deprecated filters and start making adjustments to those based only on the filters that currently exist in a Luminar 4. My preset packs work, but I'm going to go redo and make a preset pack just for Luminar 4 and stop selling the ones because I don't want you to have old stuff, right? So let me show you another photo. Let me go and get this one here, and let's see. I'm going to go get a look or a preset, and I'll just go get something out of this same preset pack. I'll go get this Scotney Castle, hit looks again, and close that. And here we go. It's overdone. This is not, hey, Jim made a pretty photo. This is a preset that I stuck on, right? So once again, AI Enhance had AI Accent. Color had some stuff here. If you go into Pro, it had adjustable gradient. So it picked up both the top and the bottom stuff. So that moved over perfectly, as did the vibrance and warmth in that filter. And then Color Enhancer, I had brilliance and warmth. And I also, if you go in here, I had some work done on the midtones and the highlights in color balance. And so that pulled over just fine. But once again, I have a deprecated tab showing up, and I've got two filters here, Tone, which no longer exist in 4, but will only show up if it was on a preset that you moved over and used in 4. So I had Contrast, Smart Tone, Highlight, Shadows, and then Clarity. I had some of that as well. So that's hopefully a quick video showing you that your presets or looks from Luminar 3 and Flex will move over and they will work. But if you had filters that no longer exist in Luminar 4, like tone, clarity, and things like that, you're going to only get access to them in the deprecated tab. And again, you're still able to adjust those. So you might say, well, I like the tone, but it's a little too much. Contrast, need a little more smart tone, a little less on the shadows, blah, blah, blah. I'm winging it here. You can still adjust it. So they're basically giving us a while to get accustomed to the fact that these filters no longer exist and to rebuild any custom presets that we may have had or built ourselves and readjust those based on the filters that are designed specifically for Luminar 4, whereas the deprecated tab are going to be old ones, and my guess is in the next version, they're going to say they're gone, and you won't have access. So I would start rebuilding now if you plan on keeping those presets or looks that you built. And that is it, my friends. And by the way, in my preset packs, if you want to rebuild those, obviously you have the filters, so and you have the presets, I would recommend rebuilding those. I am going to stop selling those here at some point in the near future, and I will be making a preset pack for Luminar 4. But anyway, that was it. I wanted to answer the question, do presets or looks from previous versions work in Luminar 4? Yes, and then but. And the but is the deprecated tab, so just be aware of that, and you can still work with them today. The but is, but you're not going to have access to them forever. So make your adjustments, move over, and use everything that's a filter just in Luminar 4 as you build new ones. And that's it, my friends. Hopefully this video is helpful. I'll see you soon. Again, we're still in beta, so some things that you saw here may change, but hopefully this is helpful and answers the questions I've been getting. So, by the way, please leave a comment, subscribe, share, like, that kind of thing. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the other thing about the deprecated tab is because these filters no longer work, things aren't in the same order necessarily and may render differently. So your presets may not look the same in 4 as they look in 3, despite being the same preset on the same image. So just keep that in mind, because things are different and the way Luminar 4 is set up, you may get some variances in how the presets look on your photos. Wanted to point that out as well. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Share, subscribe, like, that kind of thing. And let me know if this was helpful. And I'll see you soon, my friends. Have a great day. Take care, and adios.